Hello YouTubie, so this is iLoken. So this is the fourth seminar put on by White Horse Media entitled The Man with Scars. I hope you stick around.
Television producers and publishers have discovered that sorcery sells. And they're capitalizing on this. And they are producing a vast array of movies and shows and books that all make witchcraft seem to be fun for kids. And I think the parents are naive when they see no connection between the popularity of Harry Potter and the popularity of real witchcraft. Revelation 18:23 says, "Through sorcery, all nations were deceived."
Welcome back. Thank you for sticking with me. This is part 4 of Hour of the Witch. We have talked about the controversial topic of witchcraft in the Bible. The first program was called Wicca Goes Mainstream. The second one was called the Harry Potter Wicca Connection. The third one was What's Wrong with Wicca. The fourth one now is called The Alternative, The Man with Scars. Witchcraft claims to offer people power.
Steve. I do not know where you are getting this claim that Wicca offers people power. In neither of the books that you referenced, Scott Cunningham nor Silver Ravenwolf, and none of the quotes that you shared with us during any of these videos say anything about Wicca offering people power.
Wicca witchcraft teaches that there is a power in the universe, there is a power in the earth, and that power is a neutral power.
So I'm not going to go through this whole video because basically all the assertions that he's made about Wicca, he's already said in the third part of this video series.
When you look at these different doctrines, these doctrines of witchcraft, Wicca, if you look at them carefully, the idea that nature is God, that you can be God, that I can be God, that there is no sin, that there is no devil, that the power out there is neutral, and that everybody can access that power and channel it for good.
The quotes that you have taken from these books by Scott Cunningham and by Silver Ravenwolf, these are your 5 assertions. 1, that nature is God. This is invalid, and there is in neither Scott Cunningham's book or Silver Ravenwolf do they actually say that nature is God. Number 2, you can be God, I can be God. In neither of Scott Cunningham's books or Silver Ravenwolf's books do they actually say that you can become a God. It is not valid. The only 2 that I would agree with you is the assertion that there is no sin and the assertion that witches do not believe in the devil. Now, as far as this power that you're talking about, that the power out there is a neutral and everybody can access that power and channel it for good, I would agree with you to a certain extent. Basically, I just don't challenge this assertion that you're making. I don't exactly accept it, but I don't exactly have good evidence to prove it wrong. Because it is just an energy, a force. It is like electricity. It is just a power. And yes, what the individual does with this power determines whether it is for good or for ill. Steve, I pondered whether or not I was going to use the Bible in this series or not. And I don't like bringing up the Bible to argue my point is useless. It's circular. It ends up being circular logic. There is no way that you can prove a negative with another negative. It just doesn't work. You have to disprove a negative with a positive, and so that's why I've never brought the Bible into this. But I have to admit, in this series, I pulled a Bible I have off of my bookshelf, and I blew the dust off it, and I cracked it open, and I started to read a little bit of it. And I have to say, what the fuck? Are you fucking kidding me, Steve? Have you actually really read this Bible? This Bible, throughout the whole thing, is just riddled with the stamp of approval for incest and rape and murder, human sacrifice, slavery, genocide. These are just some of the Bible passages just on incest. These are just some of the ones on rape. These are just some of the ones on slavery and murder and genocide. This is a shock, Steve. And you're over here judging Wicca based upon the concept of nature being God, or believing that we can become like gods, or we don't believe in sin, we don't believe in the devil, that there's a power out there that we use for there's a power out there that you believe is a negative force that we call a neutral force. And this is it? Look at your Bible. There is so much in your Bible. Just some of these. Let's look at a couple of them for a second here. Here's a good one. Genesis 19, incest. Slavery, Exodus 21. Rape, Deuteronomy chapter 21. Murder, Ezekiel chapter 9. And everybody's favorite, genocide, 1 Samuel chapter 15. And these are all acts that your God allowed to happen. And not only that, but recorded it in a book. There are two philosophies we could run with. One is that this Bible is an allegory or a mythology or a story or a moral way of living, and not to take every single story in this Bible, the references to incest, murder, rape, genocide, slavery, and just use those as allegories. Then the other philosophy is to take everything literal. And you've already said in a previous video that you believe every word of the Bible.
And I believe in the Bible. I believe every word that's in this book.
If you take all of this literal, that means that your God, not only in many of these stories, not only did he approve of it, but he actually told his people to do it, to commit it. And you are judging Wicca for our transgressions of worshiping God as nature, or trying to become like God, or not believing in the devil, and not believing in sin, and using this neutral force that you believe is an evil force. But people like you who want to judge other religions, and like I've said before, you want to promote your own religion by suppressing other religions and making them look bad. Well, before you try to start to make us look bad, maybe you should explain a lot of these in the Bible, rather than trying to make us look bad. Anyhow, this has been Liloken. Thank you, and blessed be. The link will be